Picture this. You're scrolling through the internet, and once again, you come across the term Bitcoin. Maybe it's in an article predicting the future of money, or perhaps it's on social media alongside tales of fortunes made or lost. You know it's some kind of digital thing. You've heard it's decentralized. You've heard words like blockchain thrown around, and maybe you even know it's a kind of cryptocurrency. But what does that really mean? How does Bitcoin actually work? Well, grab a seat, because we're about to dive into the fascinating and surprisingly elegant mechanics behind Bitcoin. First, let's start with the basics. What is Bitcoin exactly? At its core, Bitcoin is a digital currency. Unlike the dollars or euros in your wallet or bank account, Bitcoin exists purely as data on a global decentralized network. No physical coins, no bank vaults. Just a series of numbers and codes running across the internet. And here's the kicker. There's no central authority overseeing Bitcoin. There's no government, no company, no CEO. It's completely peer-to-peer. But if no one's managing it, how does it even function? How can it be trusted? This is where things get interesting, and where the spark of genius behind Bitcoin lies. To understand Bitcoin, imagine you and a group of friends share a public ledger. Imagine you and a group of friends share a public ledger. Think of it as a glorified notebook where you all keep track of who owes whom. Sarah bought pizza for everyone, so she writes in the ledger that Lisa owes her $10. Later, Lisa pays Sarah back, and that's also recorded in the ledger. This notebook keeps everyone honest because it's public. Everyone in the group has access and can see every transaction. Now, take this idea and scale it up, way up. That's essentially what Bitcoin's blockchain is, a gigantic digital public ledger. Every Bitcoin transaction ever made is recorded on this blockchain. But instead of a select group of friends keeping track, it's maintained by thousands of computers, all across the world. These computers are collectively called nodes. And because everyone has a copy of the same ledger, there's no room for cheating. If someone tries to tamper with it, the fraud is immediately obvious because the other copies don't match. Okay, so the blockchain solves one big problem. It ensures every Bitcoin transaction is verified and transparent. But here's a new challenge. How do you add new transactions to the ledger? Who gets to decide what's legitimate and what isn't? Enter the concept of miners. No, these people aren't digging in the ground with shovels. Instead, Bitcoin miners are computers competing to solve incredibly complicated math problems. Think of it as a global race. When someone sends Bitcoin, for example if Sarah pays Mark 0.5 BTC, the transaction is bundled together with others into what's called a block. Before this block can be added to the blockchain, it needs a stamp of approval, which miners provide by solving these cryptographic problems. Why make it so complicated? The difficulty serves an important purpose: security. It ensures no one can just add fake transactions and mess up the entire system. Only when a computer solves the puzzle can the block be added to the blockchain. Think of it like a digital seal of authenticity. Here's where it gets even better for miners. There's a prize. Every time a miner successfully solves a puzzle and adds a block to the blockchain, they're rewarded with fresh, newly created Bitcoin. Right now, that reward is 6.25 Bitcoin per block. This process, by the way, is how new Bitcoin enters circulation. There's no central bank printing Bitcoin. It's all created by the network itself. But wait, there's a twist. The reward halves about every 4 years in an event called the halving. Originally, miners earned 50 Bitcoin per block, then 25, then 12.5, and so on. This halving process is designed to make Bitcoin scarcer over time, with a hard cap of 21 million coins. That's right. There will never ever be more than 21 million Bitcoin. It's like digital gold, with scarcity baked right into the system. Now you might be thinking, okay, the miners get rewarded, But how does this affect me as someone who just wants to send or receive Bitcoin? Now you might be thinking, okay, the miners get rewarded. But how does this affect me as someone who just wants to send or receive Bitcoin? That's where wallets come in. A Bitcoin wallet isn't like a physical wallet, it's more like a keychain. When you create a Bitcoin wallet, you get two keys, a public key and a private key. The public key is like your email address. Anyone can send Bitcoin to it. The private key? That's your password, your super secret code that proves you own the Bitcoin people send to you. Lose the private key and, well, you lose access to your Bitcoin forever. No customer service line to call, no way to recover it. This is why security is so important in the Bitcoin world. When you send Bitcoin, your transaction is broadcast to the network, waiting for miners to verify it and add it into a block. Once it's added, the blockchain updates across every node worldwide, and presto, your payment is complete. Remember, this all happens without a bank in as little as 10 minutes. Of course, Bitcoin isn't perfect. Some critics argue it's slow compared to credit card systems, or that mining requires a staggering amount of electricity. And let's face it, Bitcoin's wild price swings make it feel more like a speculative investment than actual money. But there's no denying that Bitcoin introduced a revolutionary new idea. A financial system owned and operated entirely by its users, without a middleman. Bitcoin has changed how we think about money forever. So, how does Bitcoin work? It's a blend of transparency, cryptography, and clever incentives, all working together to create a decentralized global currency. And whether you're a skeptic or a believer, there's one thing we can all agree on. Bitcoin has changed how we think about money forever.